So on the Wednesday, they were at the coffee shop again, him and his fiancée, and I got to them again and I served them, and now this time it was still very uncomfortable around them, not sure where I'm actually standing with them in any way whatsoever. And they offered me a job. They said, this is how much you're going to earn, and would you like to come and work for us? They didn't tell me what I was going to do, what exactly they're into, nothing. They just said, would you like to come and work for us? And in that moment, I said yes. But I told them I haven't gone and studied anything. I've just got out of school. I've just been a waitress, and I've been taking care of the owner's 5-year-old son. And what am I able to do for you? And they said, well, they'll just throw me in the deep end and they'll teach me. How else do you learn in this world to do anything? And I just said yes. So in that moment, I went to the owner and I said to her, listen, I'm not working for you anymore. I am going to be working for someone else. I have received a job offer and I'm taking it. Oh my God, did she get angry. She got so pissed off. And she just looked at me and she said, I never want to see you again. She said, take off your clothes, your waitressing clothes. We had these t-shirts on. She said, take off the t-shirt, give me your money bag, and get your stuff out of my house. I don't ever want to see you again. Second time in my life hearing those words. So I took everything off, put my money back down, and I went to her house and got some of my clothes, and then I went to go and live with another friend. His name was Melissa. And Eagle suggested that I phone Philip, my father, and tell him about everything, because this I'd never done. He basically knew nothing of my life. Still doesn't really. But so he suggested that I tell him what I've experienced and where I am now and what I'm going to be doing. So I said, okay. And thank goodness that Melissa's mom owns bed and breakfasts, so I asked her to maybe get me a place where I'm able to stay at a bed and breakfast for this whole transition phase to go, because now I know where to live again. Because Lynette threw me out of her house and phoned Melissa, told her, can I please stay with you for a night or two until I arrange something with Philip? And so she said, yeah, that's fine. So I phoned Philip and I told him about everything. I told him about my experience with Lynette, the drugs and the partying and the alcohol and all those things. And of course she was extremely angry, scared, because he asked me, now, are you now a drug addict? And I said, oh no, I'm just sharing with you what I've experienced so far. This is the story. What I'm going to be doing now is I need a place to stay. And I'm going to be working at a new company, and I'm cleaning up my act, basically. And he said, okay, I'll pay for you to go and stay at a bed and breakfast for a week. After that, you're going to have to look for a place to stay. I said, no, it's fine. So, because I knew I couldn't go and live with him and Erika, because we don't speak at all. I mean, I haven't spoken to her since 2004. And he knows that as well. He knows we just don't speak and we don't get along at all, and he knew that I can't go and live with them, and that's why he offered for the bed and breakfast as well, which I'm grateful for. So I stayed at the bed and breakfast for a week, and I was introduced to Eagle and he had the business, and so I started working for them, and later on started living with them as well, because I came and I said to Eagle, listen, I'm staying at a bed and breakfast at the moment, but I need a place to stay. Do you have a place? And he said, yeah. So started living here, and that's where everything started. So what must be understood is that I've never been introduced to anything of, the supernatural, or I've never read anything. No books. I've done nothing of anything that I absolutely do now in terms of, going out completely and experiencing existence and the dimensions. I've never read anything of that, For instance, we were one evening, and now this is now after I'd stayed here for a while, and experienced myself with everything, because Eagle basically introduced me to the existence of demons. Beings still existing after they're dead, and a whole new world opened up for me ever since I've lived here and experienced myself here. And so I'll be sharing some experiences that I've had. Which were the first ones? My first encounter with demons. That was quite an interesting experience. We all got together one evening. We have this huge billiard room near a swimming pool, and we all got together there. And I said to Bernard, Eagle, I said to him, I'm seeing these greyish figures all around me. They look like beings, like human beings, but the outline of human beings. I see them, they're just everywhere. And he says to me, yes, they're demons. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. They're grey, and this is what they look like. Now, there was a little bit of fear, of course, because you hear about all these things about what demons can do to you and stuff like that, but not extensive. Just like a little bit of uncertainty. That uncertainty fear? Yeah, a little bit of that. So I was like looking at everything like, okay, what now? You're all of them. He says, catch them. Catch them and put them in your heart. Now, that time we understood that you have to take the demons and put them in your heart, and then show them who they are as you, and then take them to heaven from that perspective. So at that time we still understood the soul construct, being real, and believed that to be in existence, and accepted it. Feelings, and we thought emotions were of the mind and feelings were of you, as an expression of you. We didn't yet differentiate between both feelings and emotions coming from the mind. And so he said to me, take the demons, catch them, and put them in your heart. So what I did was, I'd stretch myself out, I'd expand myself to them, and it's like an octopus legs. And I'd catch them and put them in my heart. And so I started catching them all. And I remember this one little boy that was like smiling, at this thin black hair and this big smile, this little boy, and he was jumping and bouncing around, and I was trying to catch him. He was a demon, and I just couldn't get to him. I couldn't catch him. He was too fast for me. He was like bouncing all over the room, everywhere. But I got most of them.